What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with some more fantasy football content today. I already brought out the video, players I'm targeting in every draft. If you have not seen that one, please go back and watch it. And today I am talking players I'm avoiding in every draft. So these are guys at their current ADP I am not taking, and I'll explain a little bit why. But we'll talk more about these players as the offseason goes on. But let's just hop right into it. If you guys have not, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I have posted my wide receiver rankings, my running back rankings, players I target in every draft. Early round decisions are coming out. Fantasy football profiles are coming out, and individual players. All the good content, values bust, league winners you need to win your fantasy football league. Have dynasty content out on the channel as well. Hit that subscribe button if winning fantasy football championships is important to you. If you want to best your friends and family, if that's something you're interested in, hit the subscribe button. If you just want to lose, feel free to go on by. Don't hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button and hit me up in the comments down below. I respond to all comments. Really helps out the video. Let's talk players I'm avoiding. This first one, and again, these guys aren't, it's not that I'm avoiding these guys, around later than the way they're going, but currently, Devon Achane is the RB8. I'm going to pass on him. Reason being, Travis Etienne, RB9. I'd rather have Etienne personally. Derrick Henry, RB10. I think I'd rather have Derrick Henry as well. When you talk about the touchdown upside that I think Henry has compared to an Achane, I don't know how much volume Achane's going to be able to have on his body. Obviously, he was incredibly efficient last year, but I don't think that efficiency can hold up once he starts to get more volume. Averaging close to 8 yards a carry last year. I don't see a real situation where that continues, and obviously he's being drafted, or you're getting a major discount on him because of where he's being drafted currently. Isaiah Pacheco, another guy I would consider over Devon Achane. Let's move on. Another guy that made this list for me. This one might be a little bit surprised. Chris Olave. It's not that I dislike Olave. I think he's a good player. I think he have a good season. I don't buy in a ton to his connection with Derek Carr. Obviously, he can improve, but it was just not great last year. But like a player like Nico Collins, you're telling me I could get Nico Collins around later, or not around later, but later than Chris Olave. I would rather have Nico Collins personally all day. I'd rather have Jalen Waddle as well. Just more. Actually, I think I'd take Olave over Waddle. That's not fair. But I think like Nico Collins, even the upside of Drake London, I'd probably consider above an Olave. But Nico is definitely a smash for me. So maybe Olave is just an honorable mention on this list. So I think he's a good player. I just think he's being overdrafted compared to where his upside actually lays with Derek Carr. I think he's a fantastic player, just needs a different offensive situation around him really more than anything. All right, let's keep moving down this list. Another guy we have that I am avoiding in drafts right now is Zay Flowers. He's a wide receiver 25, and I have to pass on guys like James Cook, Amari Cooper, Mark Andrews, the actual number one receiver on that team. All of these guys I would rather have than Zay Flowers. Same with George Pickens. I'd rather have George Pickens than Zay Flowers. Bring back a healthy Mark Andrews. I think it'll hurt Zay Flowers' target numbers. They've got some other weapons in that offense. Bring in Derrick Henry. They're going to be a run-first team. When you look at all of those things brought in together, it's just too much for me to take Flowers. I think he's getting a lot of hype because he's a year two. Some of the players ahead of him slightly too, like a Malik Nabers. Like Malik Nabers all day I'm taking above Zay Flowers because I think Malik Nabers just has significantly more upside this season in fantasy football. Moving on to our list, next up we have Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's another guy, wide receiver 33. You're telling me I could get Jaden Reed, though, a receiver heading into year two with a better offense, emerging as a slot receiver instead of declining. Godwin was banged up. There's plenty of excuses to make for him last year. But like I said, I'd much rather take the number one receiver potentially in Green Bay and Jaden Reed and attach myself to that Packers offense with Jordan Love. Same thing, I'd rather take Calvin Ridley, a guy who was really good and got paid this last year, than a guy who wasn't good last year, and Chris Godwin. And you're talking about Ramondre Stevenson, like running back. These are different positional values, but running back, a guy like that, he's going to get a ton of volume, just got paid. Give me him over a Chris Godwin all day. Another guy that I am avoiding in drafts. Here we go. Stephon Diggs, wide receiver 22. Currently, Devonta Smith's going behind him. Isaiah Pacheco's going behind him. I just think with all the target competition that there is in Houston, it's not that Diggs can't be good, but I do expect Nico Collins to be the one. I think Tank Dell is going to be involved in this offense. And then if Diggs is involved as well, I start to see that upside for Diggs go down to that 1,100, 1,200 yard range, which is not a bad season by any means. But when that's your ceiling is 1,200 yards maybe, I think I'd rather take a shot in Devonta Smith, who could finish as a wide receiver one this year in fantasy football. I just don't know if Diggs still has that same upside on this new offense. We look back at those years in Buffalo where he's finished as a wide receiver one. He was getting 170 targets. I think he's going to be close, in a good year this year, maybe 130. And I think I don't even know if he'll get that many. So there's just other guys I'm passing on Diggs. He's a little bit older. It's not that he's, washed up. It's the opportunity cost of some of these other players and the situation that he's currently in. Going to look up this last player, Tony Pollard. And this one might seem a little low. Like, why would you pass on Tony Pollard so aggressively at this current ADP? But let's look a little higher. Jonathan Brooks. Absolutely, I would take Jonathan Brooks before I would take Tony Pollard. But another reason, I think Pollard last year just did not look good to me. And you can blame things on injuries, you can blame it on whatever. But Tajay Spears was a phenomenal running back last year as a rookie. I think he's going to steal that job from Tony Pollard, and I can get him a full round later or more. I just don't see the upside currently really to me with taking a Tony Pollard. I don't think that offense is very good. I think he will be splitting work to Tajay Spears at worst or at best case scenario for Tony Pollard if Tajay doesn't steal the job outright. And they're an offense that doesn't look to be incredible. They've got a good offensive line coach there. They have an offensive lineman, J.C. Latham, who looks to be a dominant run blocker. But that's not enough for me to take this, and he's not being drafted so late. It's just I don't really want shares of Tony Pollard this year. I think last year was closer to reality than we realized, and I think that Tajay Spears is a better back than him. Alrighty, if you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know some players you guys are avoiding in drafts. And like I said, all that stuff really helps out the algorithm for me, so I really appreciate any comments, any likes, and hit that subscribe button to stick around for this fantasy football journey to your fantasy football championship. This has been Fantasy Joe. Thank you guys for watching.